Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make homemade apple juice using your Instant Pot and an apple peeler. And I'll show you the apple peeler in a few minutes, but it's a super easy recipe. All you need is some apples and water. That's it. Now, the best kind of apples to use, I'm using apples off my mom's, that we picked off my mom's apple tree. And I'm not even sure what kind of apples these are, but they're really good. They have a sweet flavor, but they're also a little bit tart, so you really want to use a sweeter apple. Some examples would be Gala, Fuji, Honeycrisp, Rome, Pink Lady, Golden Delicious, or Yellow Delicious. Any of those, a sweet apple is going to work the best and give you the sweetest juice without having to add any sugar. Where do you look for those apples? Well, you can use apples right from the grocery store. You have to have 5 pounds. So I usually like to make this during the fall, this time of year, because I can get seconds at the orchard for much cheaper. I can usually get, I think it's half a bushel that I get for $9. That's a lot of apples. So that's a really good place to look, is if you have an orchard nearby or a farm stand that is selling seconds off the trees or off the ground. And those seconds just mean that they're a little bit riper. They might have some bad spots and they need to be used more quickly than the regular apples on the shelves. Now let's talk about apple juice versus apple cider. Apple juice has a clearer, more transparent look to it, and the texture is just liquid. Apple cider is liquid, but it can also have some pulp and a little bit of, it just has more texture to it, and it's not transparent at all. I like to make our apple juice just because we like to drink it, just kind of for fun. But it is a good source of nutrition. You get a lot of vitamin C, potassium, antioxidants from apple juice. And since we are making this with the peelings and everything in the pot together, you're going to get some fiber from it too. Now that we got all the chit chat out of the way, let's go ahead and get these apples ready. Now you can leave the peeling right on the apple, but we are going to be cutting them apart. So, and I'll explain as we go along, but let's get that process going. This is the most time-consuming part of the whole thing, and it really isn't even time-consuming because of my handy-dandy apple peeler. Alright, let's get going. You want to start with the core end of the apple. This is my apple peeler. I've showed you this before, but we basically picked it up at a thrift store. You can also order them on Amazon, and sometimes you can find them in regular stores in your local area, but this one we happen to find at a thrift store. It's the best thrift store purchase I think we've ever made. But you'll just put your apple on there. Make sure it's on there good. And again, I've got the peeler off because we don't really need to peel this. We're just going to core it and slice it. And everything just falls down, and we'll pick that up in just a little bit after we get all these apples done. It makes a quick job of peeling an apple, I'll tell you that much. I use this for my apple butter, for making apple pie, apple crisp, apple jelly, all that stuff. into your Instant Pot. You can cut out any bad spots you might have. And then you can either cut your apples into chunks. What I like to do is just kind of slice down through the whole and just split it in half so that I have slices of apple. You can kind of see. And then just throw everything in the Instant Pot. Now when it comes to the cores, we're going to cut that stem end off and we're going to cut the blossom end off. And then you'll just throw that whole thing into your Instant Pot. Super easy. My chickens are going to have a feast later. They're going to love this. Nice thing is you don't really have to worry about there being seeds or peeling, anything like that. I would just get any really bad rotten spots or worm holes that there might be a worm, anything like that. Okay, so here's a pretty good rotten. I'm just going to cut that entire thing out of the apple. And the nice thing is if you go with really good apples, I tend to go with the old apples that need used quicker. But if you go with the really good apples, you can probably skip the majority of this step, cutting out all these bad spots. Makes it a little bit easier for you. I know I'm going to have some questions about putting the seeds and the cores into the Instant Pot with the rest of it and cooking it all together. That's okay. Apple seeds are known to be a source of cyanide, but that's okay because it would take a lot of apple seeds to poison you. And we're not chewing these seeds up and eating them. They're just being cooked in the Instant Pot with everything else. They're going to be coming out later on. Now, if you want some good resources for articles that you can read about apple seeds and cyanide and how many it would take to poison you, Pick Your Own has a good article. Blender Mom has a good article. And then there was another one from Wired.com about how many apple seeds it would take to actually poison you. So I'll link to all 3 of those articles in the caption below this video so you can check them out for yourself and do your own research. I definitely recommend you do your own research always. Always, always do your own research and make an informed decision for you and your family. We have about 5 pounds of apples in our Instant Pot. I'm using an 8-quart Instant Pot. I'm going to add enough water to cover half of those apples. In this case, I use about 5 cups of water for 5 pounds of apples. And then we're just going to put our lid on the Instant Pot, close it up. The vent is sealing. I'm going to hit pressure cook until it gets to normal. And then I'm going to take the minutes down to 6. And I'm just going to let it go. You're going to let it cook, and then you're going to let it do a natural release. Our valve has released, and we're ready to open this up. You can see the apples have cooked. There's quite a bit of liquid in there. So we're going to go ahead and start the process of dripping the juice. I've got a bucket here. You'll need a bucket or some sort of deep dish that you can do this next part. I'm going to put, this is a flour sack towel, and I'm just going to drape it over my bucket and put it down in the bucket because we're going to pour all of the apples and the juice into it, and then we're going to do the drip system. So now I'm going to get these apples. This part can be a little tricky. Be real careful so you don't burn yourself. Alright, I think we pretty much got it in there. Then we're going to gather up our towel and gather up all the edges of it. Now, you can put a rubber band around this or something strong to hold it. And you want it to hang over your bucket. Now, you can hang it, if you can get it secured, you can hang it on a hook. You can hang it on a strong cabinet door, the edge of a cabinet if it's strong enough, just anywhere that would be strong enough to hold it and let it hang. And you want it to hang for about an hour and let it drip out into the bucket because it'll just slowly drip more and more juice. I think I would probably get 2 to 3 liters out of this. Probably around 2 liters of juice out of this. So it takes a lot of apples to get a little bit of juice. Same way with applesauce and apple butter. But it's worth it. It's worth it. So then you can turn around and can that juice or can that apple butter, applesauce, and just build up your supply in your pantry. When you are going through the dripping stage, you do want to let it hang and drip. You don't want to squeeze the ingredients because that is liable to put more pulp into your juice. And you really just want juice. You don't want pulpy juice or cider. Unless that's your thing, and that's fine. But that's the reason that we hang it and let it drip for an hour or so and let it just kind of let gravity do the work for you. I've got about 2 liters of juice here, but I've got a lot of apple stuff left over. Put the stuff through a food mill and make applesauce with the leftovers. And with the juice, you can either drink it, you can can it, freeze it, drink it, or you can make apple jelly with it. It's totally up to you. I've got my leftovers here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. The chickens may just have a feast because I don't know that I feel like canning applesauce tonight. You ready to give it a try? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's eat. Let's drink some. That is delicious, huh? Yeah. Fresh apple juice. There's nothing like it, right, buddy? Mm-hmm. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.